and welcome to the good, the bad and the what the fucks, number 11, Wesley Snipes movies, number 1. Now I'm not going to jump cut, but I might have to jump cut little bits. I do like doing the good, the bad, the what the fucks in one big long take, but I could normally fuck something completely up and get something completely wrong. Now this is the first time ever I've actually filmed two good, the bad and the what the fucks very close to each other, where they both haven't been edited before I've even started doing them. Did that make any fucking sense? I've filmed them, I'm filming this, but I haven't had a chance to edit the last one. I don't know. It was proper what the fuck moment, isn't it? There was 6 months between Christian Slater and Scott Adkins, and Scott Adkins to John Cusack. There was another 6 months of, yeah, good, the bad and what the fucks. It wasn't even John Cusack. It was Christian Slater Volume 2. What a fuck up, sorry. Whoops. Anyways, John Cusack one was just finished, and it was a toss-up between John Cusack and Wesley Snipes. Which one am I going to do first? I went with John Cusack, and after that I started watching a few more Wesley Snipes, so I've got 10 Wesley Snipes films. And then I bought a new film that has John Cusack and Wesley Snipes in. I was like, what the fuck? So normally good, the bad and the what the fucks are 10, and they will remain 10, but the last one and this one will have 11, and this one will have the same movie in, and this is CHI-RAQ. Wipe down the side of the screen. Reuniting Spike Lee and Wesley Snipes from Jungle Fever back in the day. Wesley Snipes' first official release movie when he came out of prison after his television show is CHI-RAQ. And he said Shaqma again. I said Shaqma in the last video. This reunites him with Spike Lee and also John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. And it was mental actually, because Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack's been in a lot of movies. But as I said in the last thing, because I'm trying not to do this the same way. This is a musical, and it totally caught me off guard that it was a musical. I was expecting some street urban kind of stuff, and next thing you know they were singing. I was like, what the fuck? So when it starts, it's all black, and all you can hear is someone rapping, and all you see is the fonts coming along the screen in red block all over the place. Red block all over the place, random font. But it's a rap about Chicago, and it's like Shaqma, not fucking Shaqma. CHI-RAQ, that's the word, CHI-RAQ. So yeah, it goes on for about 5 minutes. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Then all of a sudden a map appears, and all of a sudden the film really starts with Samuel L. Jackson walking out, and you think, wow, that's pretty cool. Samuel L. Jackson walks out and everything freezes. Hello, I'm back. So if you wipe down the side of the screen again, Samuel L. Jackson appears, then you realise Samuel L. Jackson's in front of a green screen, but it looks like Spike Lee's had a lot of fun with new technology, new tricks and trades from his old school traditional filming. And then I realised this is a musical, because like they were talking, they were rapping and everything was going in sync, and I was like, the fuck, is this a musical? It's not even a flip cover, but I was totally bamboozled by this, and it has sort of like a bit of the Romeo and Juliet going on there, like really like outlandish grid, camera tricks, transition. It's got a grim story. John Cusack is a bit more about John Cusack in John Cusack's Good, the Bad, the What the Fucks. Get rid of that, in case I have to jump cut. Like right now, jump cut. John Cusack is the preacher. Wesley Snipes has an eye patch. He's called Cyclops. And basically when Wesley Snipes first appears, he's talking to his girlfriend, and it crosses over to the other guy talking to his girlfriend, and it mixes up, and then he comes back. He's almost like a good supporting role, even though he's quite high build, second build on there. He is quite a supporting role, but the movie itself is very artistic, and it's got a lot of going on, a lot of famous people in this in small roles. It's random as fuck. No peace, no pussy. It is about the rise of power, of women trying to stop gun crime, and Wesley Snipes is playing like the bad guy with the eye patch, obviously, and it's quite good. But as I said in the John Cusack review, it's a proper what the fuck movie, because I was like, yeah, put that on. What the fuck's this? Why are people singing? Why is he singing? Why is John Cusack doing a massive rap in front of the full packed church of black people, and he's just completely rapping away? Not like rapping, preaching, rapping. Mainly John Cusack spends a lot of time just looking up at the sky. But I definitely recommend you watching this. I really thought it had a lot going on, sends a real positive message out there. It was just something totally different. So that is a good film, but it was a what the fuck film. So that's the first ever good, the bad, the what the fuck, good fuck film. Good fuck film. There's a lot of fucking in it. That helps as well. In musical form. Like seriously, there's a big brass bed at the end. You think, what the fuck? So with that out of the way, here are 10 Wesley Snipes films, some good, some bad, and some definitely what the fucks. First off, big box VHS of Drop Zone. Now this is one of my favourite VHS covers ever from back in the day. It's discontinued now, it's hard to get a hold of. I just watched Spider-Man 2 last night, and Spider-Man was climbing up there and watching. Anyway, this came out at the same time as Terminal Velocity with Charlie Sheen. So in this forgotten film where they go on about Dante's Peak and the volcano, or not Independence Day, but Deep Impact and Armageddon, or ants and bugs. And like this was the same. It's like Drop Zone, Terminal Velocity, same kind of film, same time. This was a lot more serious film, but it was like Wesley Snipes, Passions 57. Wesley Snipes starts off. He is an airport, an airline marshal, And spoiler alert, his brother gets killed. And basically he investigates into parachuting and who killed his brother. Something dangerous is in the air. Well, his passion's 57 again. Wesley Snipes. I love the cover of that. I really love the cover of that. The DVD is just him turning back like that. Wesley Snipes. It's just lost artwork. That would make a mint. Steelbook. 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 Snakes. Snakes on a plane. Except for the gnarly cover of, like, this isn't a typical action film. Now this came out, I'm going to say it came out after Demolition Man. Wesley Snipes was shit hot then. He took this serious role to a supporting role to then hitting it big time, and he was a very bankable star, especially the pictures. Obviously coming along the same time around about Speed. Never really wound that drop zone. I mean, it's quite hard to get a hold of. I enjoyed this. It has, I mean, Gary Busey's in this, who's obviously a really good bad guy in Under Siege and really kicking up the bad guy factor. So to have him in this as well is the gnarly parachute guy, and most of the supporting cast as well are pretty good. There's some really funny curveball characters, some spectacular parachuting footage, and this stuck to more the team building bit of sci-fi comedy. Sci-fi comedy, it's not sci-fi, all sky comedy. You know, there's a lot of good fun and tongue cheeks. It does have a lot of CGI in it that I don't remember was that good then, so it hasn't really aged well now, but it is an awesome movie if you can get a hold of it. I definitely recommend checking it out. 1984, and Gary Busey on the back there. Music by Hans Zimmer as well, so you know what I mean. It did have some potential. John Badham, what a name. What's your name? John Badham, really? So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Big cast. And as I say, Terminal Velocity wasn't too bad. That did have some more gnarly stunts in it, but Drop Zone was definitely a brilliant film for the time. Right, and he messed up right at the end there. Right, what is next? Get rid of that. Right, we're going to go for a brand new film. In fact, this is the last film, the brand new film, what was released this month by Wesley Snipes. Wipe down the side of the screen. I'll just disappear for a second. Hi, I'm back. Armed Response. What does that look like? Wesley Snipes is totally back in it. Wesley Snipes, Armed Response from the producers of The Call and Dead Man Down. Co-stars Seth Rollins, who basically obviously must have done this when he had his knee surgery. He pretty much plays Seth Rollins as you see him on television, wearing the whole shield gear. Now what does that look like to you? Looks like a good action film. Storyline for this is they go along and they pick up a guy who's lost his daughter. They pick him up, recruit him, and they go to this prison, which they bought, never opened, brand new prison. They go in and then they're locked in, and then basically there's something in the air. Now what does that sound like? It sounds a bit like Event Horizons, isn't it? Doesn't look the same, does it? So yeah, straight away, what the fuck? This is a horror movie. It is not an action movie at all. There is action elements in it. Wesley Snipes does not look like that at any point in this movie. If you Google it right now, you will see multiple different versions of this cover, but this is the UK one where he's even got SWAT written on him. This has more in common with curveball movies from the 90s like Legion, where you basically get a big cast, real scenario, then put a famous person in supporting role, like that one's got Corey Feldman in. But it's a fact that when you get this, you think, this is not a horror, but the elements are quite good, the story's quite good, it's about a computer that reads people's minds, interrogation, but for some reason, it's possessed. And there's like, they get to this place and everyone's dead, and it's like, ooh, where's he at? Oh, he's dead there, he died there. How did he die? For people who love Doom and when the whole Carl Urban thing happened with the first person gun, if you like that, you might like a bit of elements in this film, because it does that a lot. If you didn't like that, then you're going to fucking hate it, to be honest with you. So a bit of horror, bit of gore, bit of random, typical story, but it's from WWE. Now, WWE have the potential to make some awesome movies, like Seeing the Evil, did really well there, but it screams low budget as soon as it starts. It's got that television appeal, and this is a part of a free picture deal I think Snipes has with them, so there will be more Snipes films like this down the line. Like, don't know if I spoiled it there or not, but there's not a lot going on for it. It's very misleading cover, so for being a misleading cover, I'm going to make this a what the fuck movie. It's not good, it's not terribly bad, but it's meant to be a fucking... Why is the screen there? It's meant to be like... That looks like an action movie, doesn't it? It really looks like an action movie. It's a total what the fuck movie. Whew, get rid of that. So that was Wesley Snipes' brand new film. Now let's go back in time a bit to Wipe Down the Side of the Screen, Boiling Point. Wesley Snipes, Dennis Hopper. So you take Wesley Snipes and the screen icon that is Dennis Hopper from stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and obviously the bad guy from Speed. He's a cop who's reached his boiling point. Right, straight away when this movie starts, the font is blue, the music is Christmassy, Frank Sinatra-y. there is no urgency as soon as this film starts, and it's pretty standard release there. Wait and Exhale, another Wesley Snipes movie. Any more on there? No. Down Periscope, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Condog Video, National Lampoon's #1 crossover Korea. Oh, John Cusack, Pushing Tin. I do not own that. I need that. Christian Slater, Broken Arrow. Okay, that's a bit of a crossover. Wesley Snipes, White Men Can't Jump. Okay. A few shout outs to other good, the bad, what the fuck's there. But I watched this recently, and Wesley Snipes plays his partner basically gets gunned down in a motel, and what's he called, man? Hugo Vegan. The guy from Daylight, the guy who's Aragorn. So that weird name, you know what I mean. He basically played Dennis Hopper just out of prison. He's called Red, manipulates a guy to pretty much just gun down the people and steal the money. And Wesley Snipes starts to investigate. And it's weird because Dennis Hopper's going out with Wesley Snipes' girlfriend in it, and she's a whore. Bit weird. Dennis Hopper is wearing the biggest oversized jacket. He looks like Joe Pesci more than anything. He's got this weird strut going on there. There's no real urgency. There's no real boiling point. Boiling point, I think, was quite a bad. That seems you first when I look at it. I thought the fucking box was ripped there, but look at Wesley Snipes, a proper sprint and roll. Looks like he does on Major League when he runs along the thing. I can see Major League down there, VHS. Have to give it. I am totally ranting. I do apologise. Anyway, this is a bad movie, in my opinion. It was watchable. It took 3 nights to watch it. I kept falling asleep. But as I said, there was not much urgency. It was quite a lot bland. Like Rising Sun, Wesley Snipes, kind of same going on there. Felt the same kind of character, but there wasn't a lot going on. It's very short and abrupt ending, really. So it's a bad film for the once. Okay. Next up, right down the side of the screen, Blade. Now, because there's 3 Blade films, and there's probably going to be at least 3 Wesley Snipes Good, the Bad, the What the Fuck's, Blade has to be in this first one. Now, this film came along and blew everyone out the water. Wesley Snipes had been on a bit of a downward spiral, and then this came along like, oh my god. And yes, this is a Marvel movie. You know, this was that much of a hit. Everyone was like, what the hell, comic book movies are definitely there. Forget about Spawn, please. But yeah, it's just like, this is going to rock. You know, it's an 18, and obviously toned it down, but it showed that there was market, and it could be done well. Everyone loved the music, even though I do have the music, everyone loved like the blood dance music, and obviously when you get the album, it is like a borderline rap album. And I forgot for some reason this has 2 different colours. But that is the most iconic one there, standing with Stephen Dorff's eyes and that. First independent in video, obviously they always slapped quotations and artwork all down the back, same outline, same as Dark City, Highlander 3, The Mask, always the same quotations. Movie is about a daywalker, Wesley Snipes, who plays Blade, whose mother was bitten just before he was born, so he's half vampire, half human, has all the powers and none of the weaknesses, and basically spends his time running down killing vampires. Special effects were breakout at the time, following on The Matrix, haven't aged totally well. If you see the Blood God Tornado with his deleted scenes, that wasn't going to work. Some of the blood splatters and stuff, especially when their faces blow up. Soundtrack, look, humour, fighting, action, brilliant for the time, absolutely tremendous for the time as well. You've got to have seen this. There we go, first independent movies. And a lot of them, you can't get a hold of. There we go, Wesley Snipes, One Night Stand. There's another film, which is pretty much a porno. But you've got stuff like Island with Dr. Monroe on there. Fucking hell, they did a lot. Boiler Room, that's an amazing movie. It's any more Good, the Bad, the What the Fuck's here? That Blade 2. Yeah, Blade 2. Oh, there he is, that's him. From before I was talking about, from Boiling Point. Varagon. Yeah, sorry, I'm ranting again. But independent video did a lot of films, all very much the same standard covers. But Blade is a tremendous movie if you haven't seen it, and it definitely deserves a good. That's a good for Wesley Snipes. Right, jump cut. Next up, right down the side of the screen, Murder at 1600 now. If you're in England or anywhere else in the world, Murder at 1600. And 1600 is the number of the White House. And this stars Diane Lane, who was pretty big at the time as well. She started alongside Judge Dredd. She started alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was meant to be Judge Dredd, but wanted to take his helmet off. Okay. Started alongside Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. And this was like the same time period. There was a lot of like Absolute Power was coming out. There was a lot of political dramas coming around the White House at that time. I don't know if Bill Clinton had anything to do with this. Mars Attacks was even attacking the White House and stuff like that. It's one of them discs where there's absolutely fuck all on it. It's not a flip cover. But yeah, it's Wesley Snipes, Diane Lane, and basically, again, he feels like he's the same kind of character out of Rising Sun. He basically comes off a job to investigate a murder in the White House, and it gives you the whole run around of who did it and conspicuous. And basically, I mean, you've got Ronnie Cox from oh my god, whatever, absolutely. Ronnie Cox from RoboCop. There we go, Ronnie Cox, that man there. This is out now. I got an email the other day, it's actually out now. But anyway, on another note, you've got him, you've got the guy from MASH, from Tower Heist. So you've got, like, when it comes to the presidential campaign, you've actually got some classic characters, including one of the commandants from Police Academy as well, which you can't take serious in a fucking serious role after. You think he's in nearly every Police Academy. But, you know, it's a bit like, who did that, you know, whole conspiracy. It shouts and screams Rising Sun. So, and personally, it's a bad film. Dennis Miller, the only other film I've ever seen Dennis Miller in, away from Bordello of Blood. The guy is, like, always looking for a funny joke. It shows you how you can sneak in the White House. And, forgot about the jumping cutting. I don't have to spoil it too much, but told about jump cutting. He breaks into the White House at the end and basically goes, here you go. And the president's like, oh, what's this? And he's like, it's a VHS, motherfucker. And he's like, this has got the actual murder on the victim. And the president doesn't even look at the turn around and fucking shoot the guy who actually did it, or the guy who was trying to sabotage a presidential campaign. And whoa, that nearly hit me right in the face. And that's it, you know, sneaks in the White House with a good old VHS, saves the day, saves the president, saves the election and everything. I always have duct tape around, don't I? Condog video. But yeah, I'm going to give that a bad film because there was nothing really original about it. It was just like a filling gap at the same time with the whole presidential conspiracy theory and all that. Anyway, next up, wiped out on the side of the screen. I keep on talking about it, so I might as well be in this. Rising Sun. Now this is the steelbook of it. Wesley Snipes was recruited on this for Demolition Man, which I might talk about later. Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes together in a movie where there's a murder in the ballroom and it's set in the Japanese boardroom, and they've got the state-of-the-art cutting technology, and basically, yeah, I love that cover. But back in the time Wesley Snipes was that big, he could be this Connery Snipes movie, and it's sold on that as well. And I love the story. I love how far ahead they were jumping with the technology, about how they're hidden all the who killed who with the camera technology and fading. And I was just like, I watched that recently. I really enjoyed it. It's got, I mean, once you know the mystery and the story, it's like, oh yeah. But then revisiting it, it has aged really well. Sean Connery's really good in it. There is a bit with floating heads when she goes, oh yeah, you can do this and do that, and I'm like, no, it's not as easy as it looks. But if you've never seen it before, it's worth watching. Really good mystery. And Snipes is like, it's almost like a passing of the torch. Sean Connery is like, you know, the works really well. Totally different kind of styles. Wesley Snipes is very street and off the cuff. A lot of good theatre. Sean Connery's been there, done that. Basically nails his script really well. And at the time it was quite good. This was just before Sean Connery had a real big comeback with, like, The Rock. Which, to be honest with you, The Rock was almost one of the last good films Sean Connery was in. We're not talking about Sean Connery and the whole myth of James Bond was found in Alcatraz kind of thing. What am I talking about? It's just a rumour, a conspiracy that Sean Connery's James Bond character ended up in The Rock. It's, you know, it's fantasy. It's like Ferris Bueller's a real person. What the fuck am I talking about? But Rising Sun is a definite good film to watch. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out. Right, next time I will talk about New Jack City. New Jack City happens to be one of the best Wesley Snipes films ever, but I'll go in a bit more detail later on because the Blu-ray is coming out of it. But news and rumours that Wesley Snipes and Mario Van Peebles, along with Bill Cobbs, who are all in New Jack City, reuniting for a movie down the line. I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. And then it just got a bit fucking weird. I was like, what's this? What kind of film is this? It's like watching two fucking different films. On one hand, Wesley Snipes, who plays Lucky, who was just out of prison, gets talked into helping out on a drug deal that goes very south when he has a suitcase full of money and goes on the run with a hooker. Meanwhile, all the way through the film, there's a woman and a guy doing torture porn, making snuff, wearing creepy masks and all these cameras and stuff like that, which is not explained at all or crosses over until the last 10 minutes of the movie, when you seriously go, what the fuck? It's like, here's an idea for two different films and here we go. Even the credits are all over the place. It's like Mario Van Peebles just went, yeah, let's make a movie. I know how to make this scene different. I'll, as the director and star of this movie, will ride around on a bike for 10 minutes while doing the scene over and over again, because that'll be different. It's like, what the fuck? New Jack City's Wesley Snipes and Barry My Peoples reunite? What the fuck? Wesley Snipes starts Moses movie off playing a bongo? What the fuck? It's just very baffling torture porn, gun crime on the run. It is a total what the fuck movie. Mario Van Peebles, sort it out, please. Okay, going back in the day before Wesley Snipes really hit it big, right to set the screen out, we had King of New York, starring Christopher Walken, Lawrence Fishburne and Steve Buscemi. All actors, I mean, Christopher Walken was very established by this point, but all actors broke out. Now this was restored by Arrow, and Christopher Walken gives an absolutely very dark, cold performance. Story about Kingpin taking down Wesley Snipes, and Lawrence Fishburne seem to be opposite cast from what they used to. Wesley Snipes does play the kind of character he went on to become with stuff like Boiling Point, Rising Sun, Murder at 16,000 or whatever, but he plays it a bit more naive, a bit more like cocky, and it's just really a supporting role. Lawrence Fishburne plays Wesley Snipes in a way. He plays the over-the-top, grill in the mouth, teeth going on there, and it's really weird. Now you would think they'd be cast the other way around, but it is a forgotten classic of the time. If you've never seen it, it's really good. This was done by the dude designs as well, Thomas Hodge. Excellent job, Thomas, as always, with your stuff. Wolf Cop. But yeah, it is a brilliant film to pick up by Arrow. Story, but it's very slow. I'm going to say, don't be watching this to say you're going to see some kind of Goodfellas and stuff like that. It really does slow down the pace. But if you don't own it, you should own it. Definitely. Right, I've got two more, and I do apologise if this has been totally fucking baffling, but you know what? It's better than fuck all, really, isn't it? And the spirit of being crazy as Wesley Snipes, his brand new film, right down the side of the screen, The Final Recall, not The Recall as it's called everywhere else, The Final Recall, is one of the Wesley Snipes films that popped out this year, where it's J.R. Knight and Wesley Snipes. You guess the and Wesley Snipes, but he's on the front cover. You might as well just put Wesley Snipes on the front cover there. They've come to claim what's theirs on the top there. Now, this is a sci-fi movie. This is about aliens. This does borrow a lot from Altered, if you've ever seen Altered. It takes the horror elements of Cabin in the Woods, stuff like Exists. And it's basically a group of teenagers, which you've always seen before, go into the woods for a wild weekend, and basically much of they meet Wesley Snipes, who is the hunter, who is totally batshit crazy, gun happy, completely talking to himself, cracking himself, has this weird hair just line cut right there. Honestly, he's just like, this is what pretty much his hair's got. His hair is like this. And that's his hair in the movie. I don't even know if that pen came off there, but he's just got this black line, that's his hair. And it's just mental. But the creatures, the special effects are awesome. The prosthetic effects for the aliens is really good. Wesley Snipes is hilarious to watch. He is absolutely hilarious. The story does get a little bit twisted in that whole sci-fi. How do we really end this? And there has been other films like this before, like Man vs. that really weird Predator movie, where the world is sort of ended while they're in the cabin in the woods, and Wesley Snipes is their only saviour. But if you're a Wesley Snipes fan and want to laugh as well, and it's a good horror film, it's definitely worth checking out. Did get a Blu-ray release. This is trailered on Armed Response. Armed Response is trailered on this. Armed Response didn't get a Blu-ray release. So this is out of the two. This is worth watching. I did enjoy this. It's a good film. If I had hair, I'd start looking like Christopher Lee with Frankenstein. Bloody hell. Last but not least, For This Good, The Bad and The What The Fox. One of my favourite Wesley Snipes movies of all time. And one of his best performances of all time. Didn't want to do it when he first got offered the job of doing it. It was sort of he's Neo Brown back on absolute crack cocaine with a modern twist going against one of the biggest action stars ever, which is Sylvester Stallone. Judge Dredd, that's the right one. This is the one right down the side of the screen, Demolition Man. That is what was iconic about the 90s, like a face-off going on here. Stallone Snipes. Stallone Snipes. NXT is borrowing a lot of that. Just the ease with this line. 21st century's most dangerous cop. 21st century's most ruthless criminal. This is the Laserdisc of it. Now this came along in the early 90s. And let's have a look at this. Treat Me Right. Tips for caring for Laserdiscs. Oh, Demolition Man. Wow, wow. So yeah. Sorry, Oliver Harper, for fingerprinting Laserdiscs. I'm just going to have to put it down as well. They're surprisingly heavy Laserdiscs. Oh, yeah. So on the back here, we've got Wesley Snipes kicking the people. Romance between Sandra Bullock. Yeah, if you've never seen this film, it's worth watching out. This has aged really well. And basically the storyline is, these two have had enough in 1996, which was 20 years ago. That's when it was set, originally. After the aftermath of the real-life events of the LA riots, Simon Phoenix has finally been tracked down. John Spartan jumps out of the helicopter to take on him. Have this big fight, up your ass in gasoline kind of crack. They fight, and there's a bit of controversy. There's a lot of bus people killed in a big explosion. Massive real explosion as well, no CGI. Absolutely brilliant demolition. Big explosion, never seen that before. But it doesn't cut very well when he's running with Simon Phoenix on his back. You see the fire escape and he's running, and next thing you know it blows up and you think, yeah, you wouldn't have got out that window with him doing the whole John Cena impression through that window. No, could have been cut a little bit different, a little bit nitpicky. And then basically John Spartan gets set to like life imprisonment. He gets frozen in blocks, and years later, after the big earthquake and San Andreas now, or whatever they wanted to call it, is you can't swear, you got free seashells, whip your bum, there's no physical contact. And basically Simon Phoenix gets out with an upgrade, and he's just an absolute raging lunatic. And basically there's a bit of conspiracy of why he was released, but then they released John Spartan to track him down. And in a society where there is a little bit of underground going, there's a lot of like, oh, can't touch him, the police don't know what to do, swearing's not approved, guns are in the museum. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheeks. Joel Silver obviously gets a little cheeky shout-out to Lethal Weapon 3 and hidden jokes like that. Sandra Bullock, I think, does a tremendous job. Not only does she look beautiful, she stepped in at the last minute for that movie. And I think the director as well did a good job. Big budget, little CGI in this movie, good script, and hilariously fun and great action movie. Definitely awesome. If you've never checked it out, has aged really well and does not need remade. Would have made, they could have capitalised on this if Stallone had been the whole Expendables there, because they could have released another criminal years later, cash in, Van Damme, Christian Slater, could have cashed them in at that time. But yeah, as a standalone movie, it was great for Stallone to return because he had a couple of flops with Stop on My Mom Don't Shoot and Annie's favourite Oscar. Annie's favourite film, Oscar. One of Annie's, sorry, for the animator. Anyway, he had this flop and it was great to see him return in a comedy action kind of role. But we still don't know how to use the free seashells, do we, really? But yeah. That was a massive rant about Demolition Man. Rob Schneider's in it as well, who reunites later on in Judge Dredd. But yeah, it is one of Wesley Snipes' best films. An absolute brilliant, badass bad guy. And definitely inspired Dennis Rodman, no matter what Dennis Rodman says. So, there will be more Wesley Snipes, there will be more John Cusack, there will be another Corey, but there will be Corey him and Corey film together, you know, to make them up. Scott Atkins will be on there as well. He'll have another Good, the Bad, the What the Fucks. Who else is going to be in the Good, the Bad, the What the Fucks? Jeffrey Combs, he would be a good one. Jeffrey Combs. Bruce Willis. Paycheck Willis. Oh dear. So, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh look, it's my favourite friend. It's a reflection I've been talking about in my last couple of videos. The Phantasm Ball. Here's an outtake for you. Has Killian Gore got any questions about Wesley Snipes? Might have in vampires. Must be a Blake question. There is. What's the link between the Munster Squad? Well, I'll give you a Killian. That's the link there. I'll give you the VHS. Munster Squad. Blade Trinity. I've got Blade Trinity handy. Got all the blades down before. I thought that was the other box. You know, I was saying there's two different boxes. Blade Trinity. So it's a link between that and Waxwork. They've all got Dracula in it. I wouldn't have knew that if they hadn't given you the Munster Squad Killian. There's probably more, but this is Killian's big, huge movie quiz book out now. 2,000 questions. Glorious quiz book by Steve Monkey Mason. On the back there, who's that guy? If you haven't got it, definitely get it now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. I need some better lighting. Okay, here's an extra ending for the Wesley Snipes, the Good, the Bad, and the What the Fucks, and a hint at what is next. Now, for Christmas, I think I got Demolition Man American VHS. Whoopsie. Also got the T-Rex that you just seen of Annie for Christmas. So yeah, got some amazing VHSs. Thank you very much, Annie. Okay, in this Good, the Bad, and What the Fucks, I made a lot of comments about Drop Zone. Now, I love that cover, and today I actually found Drop Zone on DVD. And I'm sure I talked about this in it. The VHS has an awesome cover now on DVD, and anyway, it comes out on Blu-ray. Look, it's Wesley Snipes turning, looking. Drop Zone. Same layout, font's a little bit different. I mean, they've changed the 15 around, dropped the comment, something dangerous is in the air. But yeah, just Wesley Snipes looking at the side. Like, everyone knows who Wesley Snipes is. That is an awesome cover. And it's just like, what have you done there? The back is completely the same. So yeah. So you don't see drops going around that much, and that looks absolutely hammered. I picked it up at a second-hand shop. Nice little gem to find. I also picked up these. So there will be another John Cusack one down the line for contract. The Raven. I had that and actually give it away, so that one is a what the fuck. I've had to rebuy it. No Escape I picked up as well, and 3 new gems. The next one should be, it could be John Cusack again, but the next one should be Nicolas Cage, and I might have some help with this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Is this video ever going to end? Seriously, it's like getting weirder and weirder, just like hard luck. What were you doing, man, Beatles? Well, you've got to ask though, has Ferris Bueller always been there all the way through this video? Or was he always there all the way through the film? Now, the reason why this ending outtake is I got this the other day from the shop. Now, it is what they call sell-through, and it's a small box VHS, and it is in absolutely perfect condition. Too perfect. Now, this is by the author of Jurassic Park. Now, I had a look before. I had a look at the top, and it looks like it's not opened. And if it's not opened, I'm going to go, what the fuck? So this will be a what the fuck video. It's not even opened. What the fuck? Unbelievable. Inside, white man can't jump toys. Hey, Matty Connor, condog toys. Quack, quack, quack. So yeah, it's still sealed. You don't even get a free coupon. So that must have been an insert there. But yeah, someone's bought it. Had never even watched it. Wow. Unbelievable. This is the very end of the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.